So, we are going to be a small group today. I think that um, it's nice when we can begin our practice as we wish. So, in a position that feels right to you is what I'm going to suggest to begin today. So, if that means lying down, if it means um, being seated, if it means coming into child's posture, whatever it means. And when you get to that position, take a moment. Oh, good morning. Okay, thank you. Take a moment to uh, recognize each other. So eyes closed. And so, how can we recognize each other? We can't see each other. We don't even know for sure. Um, this could be you watching in the future, and after this live stream has been recorded, and we don't even know who is who and where and how are we able to be with each other. And we could say to ourselves, you and I are the same. We come from the same place. That may not be the same city or country or parents or even continent, but the origin is the same. True place that we come from. So that is behind the meaning of namaste. It's honoring that which is in you, and that is also in me. And we share that common source. We remember that we're part of the human family, and we're part of life that inhabits this earth. All of us are an integral part of all of the life on this planet. And so that is why we're doing so many of the things we're doing these days is we are taking responsibility. Personally, we are taking responsibility for each other by staying home, by changing a lot of our behavior. And we're doing that for each other because we are one and the same. Individuals with a common source. It's such a beautiful thought. If we can be in that thought in itself, we can feel a sense of peace in itself. So at this time, just be with that for a moment. You might even listen to the sounds of the bowls to help you situate in that feeling. And let's at this time begin with a deep breath, clearing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. and being at one with the sensation, the internal sensation, the very subtle sensation of peace. So we have begun our practice with each of us in a different position. Some might be in child's posture, some might be in the back, some might be on the belly, some might be in child's posture. Just be here for another moment in whatever position you are in. And then let's find a victorious breath, remembering this is the breath that is translated also as overcoming of obstacles. That is what being victorious is. So let us find that breath. First, clear the breath, release out through the mouth. And then we'll go ahead and initiate it by taking a big breath in through the nose, fogging out through the mouth. Mouth stays open, fog inwardly. Close the mouth, exhale through the nostrils. So even on the inhalation, listening, feeling, sensing the throat differently than before. And as you take this next few cycles of breath, see all the passageways for the air to go through as totally clear, totally open. Experience energy, which is the what comes in through the breath. The breath is a vehicle for energy. The breath itself isn't the energy, but it carries in energy. And so we can really come into that, feel it, be with it when we put our minds there. And we'll start to move the physical body at this time. Now, because we started in different places, you may find a movement that feels good where you are until we find our meeting place. So if you're in child's posture, maybe you're walking arms side to side. If you started off in a forward fold, see maybe butt swaying. If you're on the back, maybe you're drawing knees in and rocking side to side. We're finding a happy baby. We're just going through and, exploring. None of these postures have to have names. None of them have to be exactly one way or another. There simply is no way. There's so many expressions of every single posture, just like there are so many expressions of life itself. Animals, plants, rocks, humans, so many expressions. And then within each kingdom, we have so many different variations and expressions, so many different kinds of humans and animals and rocks and plants. And if you think about the multitude of life in that way, we can just scale that down and say, even this posture can be practiced a little bit differently. And it might change today, it might look like something else tomorrow, or from moment to moment as you're in that posture. So explore a little bit more, play a little bit more. It's so beautiful. I mean, I don't even know for sure. I think I know at least two of the three people that are here, but it's like I can even imagine because I've seen it with my own eyes when there's a group of people in one room. So imagine this as you're going through a group of people in one room, all on their own individual mats, and they're all doing something different. They're in the same class, but they're all doing something different. And so it's that same idea that we're all united because we're from one source, but we all have different individual ways of expressing that life within us. So go ahead and feel that and be with it. Now, if I tell you that we're going to make our way towards a standing forward fold, then see what is the next step for you to get closer to it. You don't have to get there just yet, but just see. So if you're on the back, maybe it's a rocking or rolling up to seated and moving there in a forward fold, or maybe it's a shift into a table posture, going into hands and knees and then flowing through a cat cow. And if none of this makes any sense to you because you've never practiced yoga before and this is your first class with me, either now or in the future for someone who watches the recording, just move. Just move. Explore. Make the next step, take the next step so that maybe at this point you come into uh, a downward facing dog, or you're in a table posture now, um, and explore that. Maybe it's a heart chakra posture, anahatasana, with the arms forward and the heart down, the hips over the knees. Just check in and see, explore it. Let's take 5 more deep breaths, and then we will be meeting in a forward fold at the top of the mat. So if you're ready for it, you can feel free to be there now. So I'm going to make my way to forward fold, the top of the mat with the feet apart from each other. We'll take them to the edges of the mat, and maybe that is where we will meet, with the heart released, the head released, the arms released. Now from here, I'd like to go into a squat. If you have pillows or blocks, this is going to be useful because we're going to take a little time to lower down. So with the feet apart, start to lower the hips down. Now, if you have really tight um, calves, hamstrings, you're going to probably feel like, oh, I got to lift my heels so that I could lower my um, hips, but you'll probably feel very unstable, and it's going to get a little difficult there. So this is where blocks come in handy. And I just want to rest here for a little bit. So I'm going to bring the blocks underneath my bottom and then just sit, and then take the legs apart from each other and just be here for a moment, but without lowering the head, and instead stretching the head upwards, squeezing the shoulders back, maybe pressing into the knees. So if you don't have blocks, see if you can keep the hips low, but the heels planted and the trunk somewhat upright. That might look like this for you. Just see what it is. Again, all of us will have a different expression of our postures, of the whole practice itself. That means my practice is unique, your practice is unique, even if it's the same practice theoretically. So we're going to lower the hands down and then lift the hips upwards. And then let's just explore. So we have feet planted, maybe hands to blocks. Just start to explore the weight in the feet. That means take the weight forward into the toes, lift the heels, take the weight back to the heels, lift the toes, maybe even the whole foot, and just explore. And again, this is where blocks come in handy, so that if you even have like the highest height, you might be able to be in a half forward fold and just exploring Now, if you take the heels all the way up and feel the calves really activate, and then taking the weight back into the calves, you'll feel them stretch, or back into the heels, you'll feel the calves stretch. Since you're at home, if you don't have a block, but you have a table, like a coffee table close by, that's another option. You could have hands towards the coffee table and then just do this very same thing. And we'll just move back and forth a couple more deep breaths. And then from here, go ahead and release the trunk, bend the knees, start to unroll the spine until you rise up to standing. And once you're standing, adjust. You can keep facing forward. I'm going to face the camera. Might start to roll the shoulders, circles, maybe move the head side to side. And then take the shoulders up, back, and down. Let the palms face forward for a moment, and then let the palms face back. Bring the palms forward, bring the palms back. Just take a few more of these. So what we're doing is rotating the shoulders outward and inward. Outward and inward. And just find a little bit more of that back and forth movement. Now we'll keep the palms facing forward. Okay, with the feet hip distance apart, let's take a clearing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then let the palms face the thighs. So in the next inhale, reach the arms upward. So we start to rotate the shoulders out, reach the arms up, and then the palms come together. Exhale, thumbs to the heart center. Drop the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms out, rotating shoulders out. Reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to the heart center. And then at this time, as you continue this movement, make sure that you activate the thighs, engage the thighs, pull the pelvis in. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands in. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands in. A few more. The next time you inhale the arms and reach them upwards, on the exhale, we're going to bend to the right. So you could take the right fingertips to the left wrist and then pull the right arm up and over. So I'm in a mirror image to you and find a side bend. Inhale, come back to center. Now notice from the hips down, there isn't much movement. Exhale, bend over to the left, grasping the opposite wrist, the right wrist. Inhale, come to center, switch. Holding opposite wrist, pull that arm up and over. Inhale, center. Switch hands, exhale. Take a few more of these. Once more to the left. And then once you find center, bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Okay. Right from here, Let's step the feet apart once again to the edges of the mat. And then we'll exhale, take the hands behind the tailbone, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Really isn't a point where we stop moving in the posture. The end point constantly changes. So that means the point where we feel like that's all I can go. And then as you're breathing deeply and relaxing the body, then the body gives a little bit more space. And then you find there's a new end point. And so we call that the edge in the yoga practice. Release the arms down. We have the feet apart from each other. Let's come back into the squat that we were in initially. So we'll lower the hips. And then right from here, again, elbows to the insides of the knees. Now, if we want to progress a little bit more quickly, there are always ways that we can do that. So, but they do require consistent practice. It doesn't happen just from doing it once, obviously. So as you're here, the resistance activity that I pointed out is really helpful, and that's basically pushing the legs into the arms, and the arms push back into the legs, and do that on the inhale, and then on the exhale, relax that. So inhaling, creating resistance, activating inner thighs. Exhale, releasing. Inhale again. Exhale, releasing. Now we can just relax and be here for a few deep breaths. I know when I say relax, for some people, a squat is not relaxing, and that's just because of our lifestyles. We're used to sitting in chairs. Many countries around the world still squat to lower their bodies. So we're going to lift the hips, heel toe the feet so that they come closer together, plant the hands, and then step the left foot back. Bring the left knee all the way down, and then inhale, rise up. So the trunk comes up and we come into a crescent moon. But we're going to do what we did earlier with the shoulders. So we'll be rotating the shoulders out and then drawing them in. Now do this a few more times, and as you're taking them out, really squeeze the shoulder blades back towards each other as you're turning the hands out. And then again, a couple more times. Now bring the hands down to the inside of the right foot. Roll over the back toes. We're going to switch over to the other side of the mat. So the back side of your mat. You'll bring the right knee down and then inhale, lift the trunk. Start to rotate the shoulders outwards, inwards. Sinking into the left knee, and you'll see that my right knee is far behind my hip. So they're not creating a vertical post, but that knee is far back so we could feel that the quadriceps are stretching, the hip flexors are stretching. Okay, and we'll take another breath. Bring the hands down to the inside of the foot. Walk back over, roll over the back toes, walk back over to the front of the mat. And then this time, bring the left knee down, bring the hands down, take the right leg behind and come right into a spinal balance. So we're going to extend the right leg back, press through the heel. We want the leg to be looking like an extension of the back. So it isn't lifted higher. The right hip is the same level as the left hip. And you'll pull the low belly inwards. You'll squeeze the shoulders back. You might stay right here. If it's available, keep the arm straight first of all. If it's available, shift weight over to the right arm and then take the left arm forward. Now you can have the palm down, or you can turn the shoulder outward like we were doing before and have the left palm face right. Looking up slightly, like past the front of the mat or even further, helps for balance. If lifting the arm distracts you and the body is imbalanced, it's hard to be here, then you could just keep the hand down and focus on the leg. We're creating strength. Creating strength is not comfortable. So it's okay as long as it's not painful. Then we have the right position. Take another breath. And bring the left hand down. Bring the right knee to the right hand. Slide the left leg back. Going to find a pigeon's posture. Before you do, lower down to the elbows and take some circles with the hands. Feel the wrists. You'll feel that the right arm was bearing more weight, so that wrist feels different, right? So let's be with that feeling and also help it so that we can come back to a sense of balance by finding that movement. From here, we'll fold. Take a nice clearing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Folding might mean that your hands are holding the head in some way. Might mean that the head comes to a block or to the mat, but we do want to have the hips level here. So sometimes people, if you do have a question, then you could take a quick look. Sometimes I see people kind of rolling over to their right hip like this, or like going kind of over to their left hip like this. It's best to keep the hips level, and if you want to increase the intensity, then focus on scooching this right foot to the left and still keeping the hips level. You're going to feel much more intensity that way. The more that this right shin becomes perpendicular to the mat or to your trunk. And again, we always want to find the edge anyway. So you want to see, where can I take my foot? How far to the left, and still keep my hips level with each other. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths. Now we're going to come back to where we were just before this posture and find a spinal balance. So when you're ready, bring the hands down. Scooch the right foot to the right so it's under the hip. Bring the left knee up so that the left knee is under the hip. And then take the right leg behind. Now step the right foot between the hands. Roll over the back toes and walk over to the other side. And from here, we'll bring the hands down. Bring that right knee down to under the hip. Take the left leg and lift it behind. And now we're in a spinal balance in the other direction. So we're here, pressing through the heel. Pull the low belly in. So that is like a, activation here so that it's not just the leg lifting itself. The core is working and helping too. The hip flexors are in there, so that's a part of this. Then we're going to take the right arm forward maybe. And again, if you have the palm down, you could see, what's the shoulder doing when you do that. If you have the palm facing left, what's the shoulder doing? Be careful not to sink into the shoulder girdle. Keep pressing into the left hand. Take the hand down and then left knee to left leg. I'm sorry, left knee to left hand. Right leg slides back. And then we'll start to lower. But before we do, come to your elbows and circle the hands. And then when you're ready, begin to lower. Now check in with the breath. See if it's an erratic breath. And that means, does it have a pattern or is there no pattern to the breath? So we want to be in control of the pattern. As the pattern of the breath affects the body and it affects the mind. And that is how the breath is connected to both. So it's often described as the bridge between body and mind. So if we can focus here on at least a 5-second inhalation and a 5-second exhalation. See if we can boost that up to 6 seconds. 6-second exhale. You might notice you have more capacity, so then you'll inhale to 7 seconds. Exhaling 7 seconds. And keep going, regulating, finding that pattern, that rhythm. So there's like a cadence to the breath, just like a song. A song has a cadence, it has a beat. If it didn't, it would sound like horrible noise. So we want the breath to have that musical quality to it. Now the magic of it, the real trick of the whole thing is mastering Ujjayi Pranayama. It's just the way to really be able to work with this breath in such a careful way. So yes, it does require mastering the way that we use the inner throat muscles. We'll take a couple more deep breaths. And then begin to rise. So we reverse out of the last side. Let's reverse out of this side too. So the way that we did that is you can roll over the back toes to lift the knee, scooch the left foot so it's under the hip. Then draw the right knee up so it's under the hip and extend the left leg back, coming back into that spinal balance that we were in earlier. And then we'll exhale. Step the left foot between the hands, roll over the back toes, walk over to the front of the mat again. And then this time step up to a forward fold and bring the feet to the edges of the mat. Lower the arms, the trunk, the head. Notice how the body has changed since we were here first. Notice other areas of your experience. Notice your feelings. We want to be able to observe our feelings and not get wrapped up in them. If you think about what getting wrapped up in our feelings means, you could even draw a visual. And so we don't want that at all. We just want to see, witness, pay attention to them, notice them, and still, in a way, be free of them. Now let's bend the knees and then unroll the spine as we did before. We did not go into that squat. We're just going to come back up to standing. And as we're here, roll the shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. Shoulders back and down. So we have a wider stance. You could still face the same direction you're in. I'll face you. We have a wider stance. You have the palms facing outwards. Bring the palms to face the thighs. Inhale, take the arms up. Palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Inhale, take the arms up. And this time, find a side bend. Right fingers to left wrist, pull the arm up and over. Inhaling, come to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come to center. Once again, both sides. Once you come back to center, bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Now we'll take the hands behind the tailbone, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back, look upwards. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, start to rise. Rise with the flat back. And then we'll bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center, step the feet closer together so they're hips distance. Now, blocks would be very useful here. You don't have to have them to go into where we are going, but I'm going to bring mine close by because I might need them. So we're standing facing the front of the mat. I'm going to step the left foot back, like maybe 48 inches or so, something like that. So it's not a terribly wide stance. And we have the trunk lifted at this time. Now check in with the toes. I want the toes on both of the feet to be facing forward. Now if I step my left foot back up, it lands exactly where it was before, hips distance apart from my right foot. So step the left foot back again, if you did that with me, and see that the toes are all facing forward. It's a little bit more difficult because when we have a foot pivoted to the side, it creates a little bit more stability. But now we have toes forward. So we have to be here for a moment and just explore experience. Engage the thighs. Take hands to hips. Actually, take hands behind. Find opposite elbows with your hands. So you're holding opposite elbows. Lift the heart and actually look upwards. So kind of stretch the heart up. As you exhale, start to take the heart forward. Now keep the legs straight. So that might mean in order to keep the legs straight and the back straight, that you have to kind of be between upright and at that 90-degree angle. So right in between. And that might be good. If you feel like you can go further with the back nice and long, then maybe you come halfway down. So we'll be here for a few breaths. If it feels like you can release a little bit deeper and take the trunk forward, right, heart towards the right foot, then go ahead and do so. And if you feel like you'd like to take the hands to the hips at any point or the hands to blocks, but still keeping the back fairly straight, and do so. So the difference between, you know, having a straight back and lowering the trunk is, so there's just some words that sometimes get confused. If I say lower, it doesn't mean lower and round, right? There's a hinging, just like a door, there's a hinging right at the hip crease. Then that hinge gets deeper, but my back can still stay straight. Now the point where my back can't stay straight, that's past my edge. So if my back starts to round because I'm lowering, I've passed my edge. I need to come back up, find a straight back, and just be there and just be with what is available to me and breathing deeply. So a few more deep breaths. This is Parshvottanasana, intense side stretch. Some have called it pyramid posture. Again, different names, different styles, fairly similar position with the body. We're going to start to rise up. You can bring hands to hips if you lower the hands, rise up, and then step up so that we can switch sides. So we're going to step the right foot to the back of the mat, but again, not too far. And we can test and make sure that the foot is still about hips distance from the left. We're just stepping it back, all the toes facing forward, settling into the feet, engaging the thighs, keeping the trunk upright, maybe hands behind, finding opposite elbows with the hands. And then we could start to stretch the heart up and begin to hinge. Now there's a movement that's occurring with the hips here. The left hip is going back, the right hip is going forward. Deep breaths, maybe hands to hips, maybe hands to the leg. That's another possibility, to that left leg. See what's right. Maybe hands to blocks. Notice that that end point, that edge is changing as you breathe deeply. As you relax into the posture, yet stay active where you need to stay active. And then we'll start to come out of this. Take a couple more breaths first. We want to make sure that we're even. Reversing out, rising with the flat back, and then stepping up to the top of the mat. Okay, right from here, inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, fold forward over straight legs. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands down, step the feet back, but then come right into table posture. So one knee comes down at a time, and then slide the hands forward to come to heart chakra pose, Anahatasana. Forehead down, hips up and back. 3 times, push the palms down into the floor or the mat, and then release. Pushing, and then release. Pushing, and release. And then breathe here, 3 deep breaths. Clearing breath in through nose, out through mouth. You're going to rise up to table posture and then switch to seated. Come to ankles crossed. Sitting up nice and tall. Okay, so from here, bring the hands, so you can have a foot under the opposite leg, or you can have foot in front of shin, but you're going to hold the front leg around the foot, the shin. And on the inhale, like a cat-cow, on the inhale, take the shoulders back, look upwards. On the exhale, release. Bring the head down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Kind of like a collapsing. This is in a Kundalini practice called camel, actually. So inhaling, exhaling. So imagine, that you're riding a camel. Inhaling, exhaling. Take a few more. And then inhale, rise. Bring the arms out to a T. Find a side bend again to the right. Left arm up and over. This time the right forearm might be on the mat. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come to center. Find a twist to the right. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Get tall and then turn. Turn the head once or twice to the left and to the right. Keep it to the right now. And bring the head to center. Switch sides, twist to the left. Turning the head side to side. Continue to turn to the left. And then we'll come to center. And switch the order of the ankles for a moment just to feel a sense of evenness. Then start to rotate the shoulders a few times. Then take the shoulders back and down. Exhale, chin to the chest. Deep breath in. Release through the mouth. Take a big circle with the head. Big circle. I'm going to take 2 this way. Once the chin finds the chest, 2 the other way. And once the chin finds the chest, shake the head out. Bring the head to center. Next, exhale, tilt the head to the left. Roll the right shoulder a couple times. And then take the shoulder back and down, and you might even sit right on top of the right hand, keeping the head tilted to the left, feeling the right side of the neck stretch. Then we're going to lift the chin slightly, but keep the head tilted. Just lift the chin slightly. Soften the muscles in the face. We're just about to rest. Let's be prepared to rest. Isn't that a funny thing to say? But we really need to be prepared because it takes quite a lot to be able to rest. A lot of less. Getting less and less of the things that we keep in the mind, less and less of those things, and that does take effort. So we'll go ahead and just lower the chin where it was, and then bring the head back to center. Release this hand. Notice the left and right sides of the neck. See how they're different? Now we'll switch. Tilt the head to the right. Roll the left shoulder a couple times. And then settle the shoulder back and down. Sit right on top of the hand. Now pick up the chin a little bit. Lower the chin a little. Bring the head to center. Release the hand. Now let the movement continue with the head. Looser now. We feel circles with the head. It feels different than before. Rotate the other way. And then bring the head to center. Now we're going to go right into Shavasana, but before we do, we're going to warm the hands and then rest the hands on the eyes. So begin to create friction with the hands, rubbing them against each other. Intentionally relax the eyes as you continue to create heat. Relax the mouth, relax the jaw, relax the whole face, the forehead, the scalp, the temples, the lips. Now rest the palms on the eyes. Feel the darkness, feel the quiet. Let's do that again. We'll do it again, bringing hands together. Hands to the eyes, the dark, the silence. And release. Come all the way down to your back. So you'll go there. I will not be going there. I'll stay seated. You're going to lie all the way down in the back and let the limbs go. Relax the entire body. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Feel the whole body sink. Feel that the mind can now rest. Feel in that rest a deep sense of peace just waiting for you. And it's waiting for you to recognize it. And to be with it. Feel that you're completely wrapped in peace. Feel the freedom of that peace. Wrapped up in that sense of calm, trust, and faith that that peace is always there. Begin to deepen your breath at this time. Begin to move the arms, the legs, the hands, the feet. Bring the knees to the chest. And when you're ready, slowly find your way to seated. Maybe you roll to the side. Maybe you rock up. Maybe you're happy lying down and you want to stay there. That's fine too. We'll seal our practice today by recognizing each other again, by bringing the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Whether you're watching now or in the future, taking a moment to see beyond our surface and recognizing our origin is the same. And that is divine. Let's seal the practice with a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One sound of Om in. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste. Thank you for being here. I'm going to stick around and play the bowls for a moment. Have a beautiful day.